Hey guys, what's up? I'm here with a review of a semi-documentary exploitation film from 1977 from director Doris Wishman, director of A Night to Dismember, a film I reviewed in my last review. And today's movie is Let Me Die a Woman. This pseudo-documentary follows the work of a sex change specialist, including interviews with the doctor himself, a few of his patients, an illustrated lecture, and various aspects of transsexuality. And of course, no exploitation film, no pseudo documentary exploitation film about being transgender would be complete without actual footage of a sex change operation. Let's get to it. The film opens with a woman waking up, narrating the film, putting on makeup, and then she explains that a year ago she was a man. We get a title screen, then a narration talking about, gender identity, sexual identity, with people walking down the street, pictures of Adam and Eve, pictures of headlines of newspapers talking about sex change and transsexuality. And we are introduced to Dr. Woolman, an old man who wants to explain transsexuals and sex change operations to us. So then we see a man and a woman meet in a park. They leave holding hands before going back to one of their apartments, and the guy is super stoked to be getting laid. The two have sex, and then, as I've said time and time again, this film would probably work a lot better if there wasn't any sexual content. This sexual content in this film isn't really needed, but it is a 70s exploitation film, so I can excuse it. The woman is actually a man, but she's very close to becoming an actual woman, having obviously been taking female hormones. The doctor then explains what a sex change operation is and how it works. The film shows a dramatization of a man who couldn't afford the operation, so he tried to do it himself with a hammer and chisel. I'm not joking. Hammer and chisel. Even though the scene is cheesy and you can tell it's fake, it's still kind of hard to watch. And apparently, it actually happened. Now, considering this is a pseudo-documentary from the 70s and it's also an exploitation trash film, I'm going to go ahead and assume that maybe it has happened with people that have BIID, but not transgender people. At least transgender people who are 100% sane. Then the film shows a group of transsexuals, both post and pre-operation, talking to each other, and the doctor talking to each other and the doctor. They talk about how employees won't hire transsexuals and how, and then we meet Angela, a transsexual male. Then we learn about how they feel the vagina. Then the doctor explains the differences between lesbians and homosexuals, between transvestites, and how they are completely different things. Then we get an average male and a transsexual male having sex. This is a 70s exploitation, or I should say, sexploitation pseudo-documentary. So what can you expect? We meet a female transsexual who wasn't accepted by her family, or by his family. I apologize if I used wrong terms here, okay? Then the doctor explains how the procedure goes in great detail, and we get actual footage of it. While it is only about a minute of the footage, it's still a little gross to watch, and that's where I ended my rundown. This film is really offensive. Now, while it claims to be a documentary, I think it's a little bit more of a reason just to show some cheap nudity and sex at the expense of transgender people. It's really just one of those cheap, classic 70s trash exploitation films. If you really want to learn about the life and troubles of transgender people or transsexual people, watch Boys Don't Cry, which is a very good and heartbreaking film. Now, if you're looking for some cheap, badly made, exploitative trash, then this one's for you. Do not watch this film if you are really religious, anti-gay, if you are easily offended, if you are one of those people on Tumblr that gets all rowdy over something very small and insignificant that might be a little bit offensive, you are going to hate this film. If you enjoy exploitation films, offensive cinema, and just trash films that are worthless and just disgusting and irredeemable, then you might enjoy this, as long as you are not easily offended. So yeah, if you're up for it, you can watch this movie if you want. Just know that I have warned you guys. I have told you that this movie is offensive. Offensive and I don't want to say gross, but kind of I want to say strange, a little bit strange. It's a little strange. I didn't think I'd have to get out the gore meter for this one, but on the gore meter from 1 to 10, 1 being something like the Corpse Grinders, and 10 being something like Brain Dead, this movie is a 4. Not a lot of violence, but there is the actual surgical footage and the home penis severing, which is hard to watch. Now, please understand, I'm reviewing this film based on entertainment and informative value. Based on the entertainment and informative value of this film. And just because I like this film does not mean I support any kind of discrimination or anti-gay or anything that is just, I support equality. I just watched this film out of 100% curiosity. So, yeah, and while this film isn't very informative, I don't want to say it's entertaining. I want to say it's a little intriguing to see basically what was considered a factual documentary from the 70s. And I mean, really, it's just really interesting. I might have to find a copy of it. I know Synapse Films has a release of it. I might buy it just so I can say I own it. So on the scale of on my rating, which is based on entertainment or informativity, I don't know how informative and interesting the content of the film is. It is a 4.5 out of 5, a 9 out of 10. It is, if you enjoy exploitation trash films, then you will like this, probably. Anyway, guys, I'm Biscuit Booze 69, signing off. Peace.
You're listening to a demo for